Hey, welcome back to Get Down to Business. Today, we're diving deep into the world of local business marketing with Jeremy LaDuke. Jeremy is a seasoned marketing expert who has been helping businesses grow since 2014. He's also the author of the new book, Klein, The Risks and Rewards of Elevating Your Brand, a guide for local businesses navigating the marketing landscape. Jeremy, welcome to the program.
Hey, thanks for having me on.
You bet. You've been working with local businesses for about a decade. What inspired you to write Klein, and what gap does it fill in the current marketing literature?
So like you said, started working with small businesses actually beyond a decade ago. I started my business about a decade, but I've been working with local businesses for close to 14 years, and started out just doing kind of simple things, logos, websites, and all that sort of stuff for them. But when I started my company, I had come to the point where I realized that a lot of businesses that start up, whether it's a local restaurant or retailer, a bookstore or a plumber, all these businesses that kind of make up our local economy and help, give local people a place to work, give to our local nonprofits. They, when they start out, they're really passionate and they're really good at the thing that they do, but they're not necessarily really good at telling their story in a way that communicates the value and the essence of what they do. And so I would see a business pop up, and then it would be a great little business, but then after a year or two, it's gone. It disappeared because it went out of business. And so my passion for Klein is to really put into the hands of local business owners, people who have a footprint in their local community, put into their hands kind of a DIY manual for how to think through and really get your hands around your own marketing.
Amazing. In your book, you use a storytelling approach following a local business as it's passed down from father to daughter. Why did you choose this format, and how does it help readers understand marketing concepts?
So I've liked this format. I first got turned on to it through Patrick Lencioni. One of my favorite books of all time is The 5 Dysfunctions of a Team. And he tells what is this kind of a business narrative where he walks through and kind of demonstrates these principles of team building and leadership through a story. And so I really liked that format, but I also wanted to give a little more nuts and bolts and instruction. So it's kind of half and half. I've got this story that allows you to kind of see how good marketing looks when it's being put to use in a local business. Now, the story follows Eva Marley. She's running a local bookstore and toy shop. And so that might not be you. Chances are that's not you. But with a little imagination, I think the readers can see their own business and see how to apply the things that she has to do to their business.
Fantastic. Again, chatting with Jeremy LaDuke. And Jeremy, what are some of the biggest challenges that local businesses face in today's marketing world? And what advice do you offer in your book to overcome them?
So one of the big ones is branding. A lot of businesses, when they're starting out, they know their craft really well, but they don't necessarily know marketing or what works with marketing. And so they kind of look around at the landscape of their competition and they kind of say, okay, well, this person over here is doing it and it seems to be working for them. And this person over here is doing it this way and that seems to work. And so they kind of fall into this trap of playing it safe with their marketing and their branding. And that's probably one of the worst things you can do when you're getting started, is kind of blending in and looking like and sounding like everyone else. It takes a little more vulnerability and it takes some courage, but the best thing you can do for your branding and your marketing when you're starting out is to be distinct, be bold in some form or fashion, right? But find a way to stand out from the crowd.
You also launched the kleinclub.com. Can you tell us a little bit more about this platform and how it complements your book?
Yeah, so the Klein Club is an online community of local business owners. It also has a lot of resources, so video guides, video courses, step-by-step instructions on how to do things like set up your Google Analytics or get your Meta and your Facebook and Instagram pages all squared away. But there's also, we have a weekly mastermind group where you can come and you can get advice and you can give advice to other local businesses. So if you're trying to figure out how to run a certain campaign, or maybe you're putting on an event and you want to figure out how to market it, you can get advice and hear the stories of other local business owners who maybe have been through similar things and have some words of wisdom to share.
Jeremy, in your experience, what's one marketing strategy that consistently delivers results for local businesses, regardless of their industry?
Oh man, that's a tough one. So, it's marketing is one of those things where there's no one size fits all. But I think a general principle that I try to push people towards is, again, don't play it safe, especially with your branding. If you're about to spend money on something, or if you're about to create a new campaign, or maybe you're putting up a billboard or you're designing a website, if it doesn't make you feel a little bit nervous, it's probably too safe. It needs to make you feel a little bit nervous, and that is kind of a sign that you're doing something that nobody else is doing, and it's going to help you stand out. It's going to help you gain the attention and work your way into the memories of your customers, because that's what your marketing is supposed to do. Your marketing is in the business of making memories.
I'm chatting with the author of Klein, The Risks and Rewards of Elevating Your Brand to God for Local Businesses, Navigating the Marketing Landscape. That's Jeremy LaDuke. Jeremy, just before we cut to a quick break, we know that many entrepreneurs have limited budgets. Any specific cost-effective marketing tactics that you recommend?
So again, it's kind of a no one size fits all, but email is definitely a great one. Start building your email list, because that's something that you're going to own and you can use no matter what the algorithms are doing or what other budgets are doing. You can always use your email.
I love it. Chatting with Jeremy LaDuke. We're going to continue our conversation when we come back and get down to business in a moment. Don't touch that dial. We're back on Get Down to Business, the show all about small business, jobs, and entrepreneurship. And I'm continuing my conversation with a seasoned marketing expert who has been helping businesses grow since 2014. And this is Jeremy LaDuke. As I've been mentioning, he's also the author of a new book, Klein, The Risks and Rewards of Elevating Your Brand. It's a guide for local businesses navigating the marketing landscape. And it follows a really interesting storytelling approach, which is really, really awesome. So Jeremy, again, welcome back, and greatly appreciate all of the tangible, practical advice. But let me flip it. What's one misconception that you commonly hear about marketing that you think small business owners need to be aware of?
Well, if I can point out two things, one is probably a misconception, and one is just a common practice or lack of a practice that I would say. The misconception would be social media is the cure-all, right? Like I just want to get on social media, and that's going to be enough advertising for me. And it just doesn't work that way. A lot of people think that they can get on social media and have zero budget and just just kind of hustle on social media. And those days are long gone. You have to have some sort of budget if you want to do some effective marketing. The other is most of the businesses, or not most, but several of the businesses that come to us, when we first start a consultation, we always ask, what are your goals? And a lot of businesses struggle to really identify a specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time-bound, those SMART goals, right? And so that, I think, holds people back. If they don't know what they're aiming for, they're going to hit it every time, right? And so finding and identifying a measurable goal is important.
Amazing. And you're inspiring, because not only have you practiced this, and not only have you fed it to so many of your clients and folks that you've been consulting with, but you've actually written the book quite literally on this topic. And I can tell you, knowing how hard it is to write a book, it's very impressive. And I actually want to move on to that theme for a moment.
Yeah.
Do you have any advice for any of the entrepreneurs tuning in, or anybody that might be tuning in who are looking to write and publish their first book?
I would say really let it simmer, right? It simmered with me for a long time, I think. And until I kind of had it all, this idea just kind of emerged out of the ooze in a sense. That's the way it worked for me. It might not work that way for other people, but it definitely worked that way for me. And so I'd say just don't feel like you have to do it tomorrow. Like it will, the time will come, For me, that time happened during COVID. Had a little bit of downtime where all these ideas that had just been like circulating around in my brain, I had a little extra time to start putting them on paper, and I probably wrote 75% of the book in a 2 or 3 week span, and it took me 4 years to write the rest. But I would say let those ideas boil. Right, keep doing your thing that you want to write about, and let those ideas start to build. And if you don't think that you're going to have time to write the book and you really want to write it, take some time to where you can just get out of the hustle and bustle of everyday life and really focus and lay it all out.
Amazing. I was worried you'd say a one-word answer, which would be don't. But
I considered don't. I considered that, but I was like, that's too easy. And I know if you really want to write a book, don't is not. You're not going to take that for an answer.
Absolutely, that's true.
I will say this: don't plan on making any money at it. That's for sure. Like you are probably not going to write a book and sell 1,000 copies quickly. So kind of temper those expectations, but
good advice.
But definitely, if you want to write a book, don't let anything stop you.
It's good advice. Well, speaking of advice, I know you've got a lot of advice in Klein, and I want to make sure our listeners can find the book and get in touch with you. Jeremy, how can they do so?
Yeah, so the easiest way is email. I'd say if you want to shoot me an email at jeremy@epicnine.com, that's EPICNINE.com. Or if you want to sign up, we've got a free month trial of Climb Club at theclimbclub.com.
Fantastic. Jeremy LaDuke, thanks so much for joining us. That's a wrap for us this week on the show about small business, jobs, and entrepreneurship. Go to my website, syklein.com, to success. Let's get down to business. We'll see you next week.